it's hard when you do have an example of a father that's been in your life, a strong example. And it's not that you compare, it's just that there are attributes. The same way men will want attributes of their mother or their grandmother. So that's normal. But I think that there's a huge disconnect, especially when you come from a two-parent household and then you're dating people that come from one-parent households, particularly men at this time.
Why ain't I see you around back when I was down?
What's up, world? It's your boy, Big Court of the Holdin Court Podcast on Legacy Builder University. You already know what it is. I'm here with my beautiful oldest daughter. Y'all know who it is, Rachel Renee.
What's up, world?
Yeah, so we doing something a little bit different today. As y'all see, we broadcasting from somewhere a little different, you know what I mean? Somewhere in California, in Los Angeles, you know. This may be the crib, it may not be, you know, y'all nosy, but y'all see what it is.
Right.
You hear the square footage, right? So we doing something a little bit different, but nevertheless, producer Ken is here in spirit. You know, that's our brother, that's Uncle Ken, you know what I mean? That's my brother, so he's here in spirit. And I also want to tell you guys, man, go to Legacy Builder University, imbigcourt.com. Tap in with Legacy Builders on the school app, download it. We basically helping people level up their lives. We showing you how to monetize your social media, how to get to the money, funding. What else we got?
Yes, IP, investor, tech, e-commerce.
Yes.
We're just an entrepreneurial hub.
Hey, and it's going up too, man. We probably got about 1,000 members right now. We just launched. So shout out to Duno and shout out to John Franco. You know, that's the team. So imbigcourt.com. Y'all go tap in. We got some good game in there. We're going to show y'all how to get to wealth. You guys who want to grow your business, you want to make some other income, you want to get one of these, make some goat moves, you know what I mean? But we're going to jump right into it. So this is me and my oldest daughter. We just going to powwow for a little bit, you know what I mean? Do something. We're going to change up the format a little bit going into 2025. So
dang, that's crazy.
What's on your mind? What's on your mind, oldest daughter?
A lot has been going on.
It has.
A lot has. What you want to start with?
You know what? This is what I want to, I ponder on this sometime because, you know, I had you young. I had you at 16.
Yes.
I conceived you at 15. I remember when all of y'all were conceived. You, your brother, and your sister. So you in particular was in my twin bed in my mother's house.
Faux block.
Yeah, on the faux block, you know, and your mother being a few years older than me, who is now my wife. But, you know, you've made it to this big age of 30 plus. Yeah. And you see how I'm rolling over my oldest daughter? Just start that bitch up. And so, you know, we've made it to this big age, me at almost 50 years old, and with no grandchildren. Now, we've talked about this, but I understand it's a challenge, several of them, because you're focused on yourself.
Yes.
You know, as your brother would say, inside joke, you know what I mean? Focus on yourself. But let me ask you, I see all the tropes and all the stuff on social media and the conversations. Is it really difficult, or how is it dating as a millennial?
Oh, dating as a millennial, it's tough. But here's the thing. I feel like every era of human has its dynamics. And I think with millennials in particular, we're battling social media. So we already have instant gratification on top of the perceived notion of I have many options and I can find another. Then I feel like within that social media paradigm, you also have the extremes. You got the red pill, you got the pink, what I call the pink pillars. And you just have these two extremes on both ends. And I feel like the people that are seeking real relationships, that want to, you know, build their kingdom and their queendoms with their divine partner, I feel like we get lost in the sauce. And I also feel like for the first time in our modern history that because women are able to have their own cars, houses, their own money, it puts women in a different position. Because whereas before, women had to make decisions out of survival. So obviously your mate selection would look different. But now that women can take care of themselves, I feel like it's putting men in a position where the traits that they weren't socialized to have before, they have to get them now. And they're not evolving at the pace where I think women would want them to evolve. But then you also have women with these toxic mindsets too. So it's a mess. It's a little bit of a mess.
What has been your experience, like, dealing with other millennial men, and especially with me being a Gen Xer and me being your reference point, which I would consider, and I mean, this is me, you're my child on the outside looking in. I consider myself to be my generation of
curse breaking.
Yeah, but not only that, of James Evans. My generation of James Evans, you know what I'm saying? So, but with
rest
me,
in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace. With me as a reference point, like, what's been your experience?
So I think overall, for me, it's just been a little bit difficult because, it is very hard because with men, and no fault to their own, especially with, our particular culture, but it's hard when you do have an example of a father that's been in your life, a strong example. And it's not that you compare, it's just that there are attributes, the same way men will want attributes of their mother or their grandmother. So that's normal. But I think that there's a huge disconnect, especially when you come from a two-parent household and then you're dating people that come from one-parent households, particularly men at this time, because it's not like, because I know we talked about this, you're like, well, I came from a one-parent household. Yes, but you also came from a very masculine time. Like the men were really, you needed to assert yourself as a man, whereas now it's a little bit more gender fluid too. So I think the role reversals, I think the feminist movement too has kind of, even though I myself am not, I don't consider myself a hardcore feminist. Yes, I want equal rights, I want equal pay, all that stuff. But I do like traditional gender roles. So bringing that into a generation where men are like, nah, we want 50-50. You know what I mean? I want you to show up 100 and, and I told you, my whole problem with the 50-50 is that it's not about, because, and I went through this, is that the 50-50 man, everything he does is half-assed. Everything he wants to do is even with himself, because you're training your mind, I only have to go halfway. Well, that's not love, that's not a relationship. We're supposed to be, maybe you're 80 one day, maybe I gotta be 20, it fluctuates. So having all of these, you and my mom, watching you and my mom, and then watching you and wifey go through every transition. You know what I mean? From like, we was eating checkers and wings and things, and gold chicken gold, and now we at crustaceans and Mr. Child's. It's like, it's hard. So it's like, part of me would want that, but I don't want it at the cost of what I built for myself either.
Do you think that maybe what your mother and I were able to do, because maybe we were able to do that in a world that doesn't exist anymore? You think maybe that attributes to it? Because, I see social media, and I'm so glad I'm not in the dating pool and having to deal with all that, right? Because everything seems so transactional nowadays. It's all about what someone is bringing to the table, what they have, both men and women. And like you said, you have to contend with social media. We didn't have to deal with that, It was very simple. It was just, I like you, you like me. It was really something from the heart, right?
Right.
And it wasn't, and don't get me wrong, of course you had your boppers and your car free. You had the youngest that wanted the niggas with the drug dealers and all. You had that, right? Of course, but for the most part, it wasn't as complicated. It was just simply, and you are correct, and you have watched over the years. I mean, it's fluid. Right? It's not always going to be 50-50. There's going to be times where your partner doesn't have it to give. For whatever reason.
Yes, for one reason
they don't
or another.
have it to give.
Illness.
So you may get nothing and have to do 100%, right? And then you may have your times where you don't have it to give, and they have to, and this goes across the board. This could be emotionally, financially. This could be mentally. This could be just domestic things around the house. And we don't have necessarily domestic roles. I'll clean up, I'll change y'all. I did your hair. I used to do your fucking hair best I could, but I did. You know what I mean? So I feel bad for you guys, and it seems like it's getting worse even when you get to my youngest daughter, Boots, to her age, because it's I don't know, it's almost like it's not a real world. There's no connection. This is the connection. Everything is through here. It's almost like, how many followers you got?
Yes.
How many people are engaging with you? What do you have?
Oh my God. Speaking of followers, no, and it's so crazy. And I just, because I don't want to forget this, but I feel like just even with that's so crazy, but even with men, I feel like there's men that will also look at a woman's page and that'll kind of dictate how he comes at her. Like, oh, she got 1 million, I gotta come correct. Right. Oh, she got less than 10,000. All right. Please. It's a little bit odd.
We in LA. So I know people, I've seen women and men with millions of followers with nothing on the bus.
Nathan.
You know what I mean? So trust me, that's a vanity metric. That means nothing. But I find, and the whole 50-50 thing, your reference point has never been that. I can remember even back when I was hustling, and remember I would have a safe full of money. And we could say it now because the statute of limitation has passed. And I'm 100% legitimate at this stage of my life. So I would have a safe full of money, and your mother, remember, she would be like, "Oh, can I wanted to take some," and I would tell her, "That's our money. Take what you want. Right. Just let me know the stack that you take it from, and put it to the side so I know it's been tampered with. So I know that it's not a 10,000 stack because I would keep 10,000 stacks, But it's never been a separation of us. It's always been together and whoever can do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm not too proud to say, there's been times, you're talking about over 30 years, there's been times where, hell, you even, and I don't know if you knew necessarily as a kid, but there's been times where, I've carried us, and your mom, it was because she did her part. Then there's been times where I might have fell off, especially in the streets. Yeah. And then your mom got to carry it for a second while I figure it out and pop back up. You know what I mean? And regroup, pivot, And any hustler worth their salt know what I'm talking about. Yes. You know what I mean? You take them L's. Re-up. Back in the day, and see, this is a little funny. Back in the day, y'all know who I'm talking about. You doing your whoop-de-wop. You know what I'm saying? And you used to your run. You wake up and you check that tracking and you see exception and your heart drops. You see exception. No, I remember that. And you just get that look on your face like, oh God, oh Jesus, I just lost everything. Or somebody talk about, it didn't come. Right. I didn't get it. You didn't get it.
We spent all them hours rapping and making sure.
You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean? I rapped that thing 200 times. You know what I mean?
This is why. This is complete sidebar, but this is why I was talking, because Ghost just wrapped up Power, Tariq's spinoff. Yeah. And it was funny because I was telling Bootsy, I was like, man, I feel them. And so she was like, I said, I got Court Dog. You got Big Court. That's
a fact. That's a fact. And speaking of that dynamic, right? And listen, we're making history right now because I don't want to be so arrogant to say we're the only, but I think in our space we are one of the few. Yeah, daddy-daughter, things. But going, you having, like, how was that just as a kid? You, because I exposed you to a lot, you know what I mean? And like you said, making the parallel with Tariq. What is that with, you got Court Dog. Yeah. You got the teenage young version of me, young man, trying to figure it out. Your siblings got Big Court. They got pretty much the established man. Do you think they understand that? And what is that like for you to be able to witness that, to be like, oh, see, y'all, I would have never been able to do that.
That is so funny. No, it's a trip. And no, I don't think that they get it. Even the other, when I was cleaning up my knife and stuff and, talking to brother. And I asked him, we just got to talking. I said, babe, have you got a gun or, shot a gun? And he was like, oh, no. And I was like, oh, wow. I said, that's so weird. And it's like, even the fact that they're my siblings, but we have such drastic experiences. But I will say at the time, like, I told you, I remember when you like came out to me that you were hustling. I remember we was at grandma's.
Came out.
Yeah, you like came out to me that you were hustling. And Yeah, I just remember thinking, and maybe because y'all always talk to me as an adult, like everybody in the family. So I just remember thinking, and literally, even at that age, I was like, well, the world is the world. I don't care. Like, I want to go to Toys R Us. I want my Super Soaker water gun. I didn't really care. So, but as I got older and I started understanding the gravity, you watch movies and shows, and you like, hold up, wait, this is that. And then when we moved to LA, I told you that's when I really realized, because remember when I wrote that essay in English and I was talking about how we celebrate the 4th and all of the stuff in school, and I'll talk about all the guns and what we doing, and he was like, you can't talk about this, because remember the teacher wrote home and wanted to meet. And so I think moving out here is when I realized, like, you've had a slightly different upbringing, and then my understanding of the world and just how people get down, how people can move. But I'm so happy I saw it, because when you do gotta get out into the world, you see that everybody got their hustle. Everybody got something, from your most successful businessman down. But it is a trip to, even saying, for me to be able to see you go from Court Dogg to, Big Court, and now even Cordy Richardson and, LBU.
Legacy builders,
and we're pivoting, so.
Yeah, no, that's a testament to growth, and I'm grateful, that God has smiled on me and showed me grace and mercy to be able to make it, because a lot of my peers didn't make it, or they didn't pivot, they weren't able to grow.
Yes.
I kind of want to go real quick on the dating thing, real quick.
Oh yeah.
So these new school guys, like I was obsequious when it came to your mom. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Is that still a thing? Like, do they still pursue? Is it still that puppy love? Is it still that, man, I just want to fall asleep on the phone with you. I just want to. Is that still a thing, or?
Let me be fair. I will be absolutely fair. So I'm gonna say yes and no. Yes, because I feel like you can get that out of a man, but I will say, now I'm gonna put this on women. Women, our generation of women, make it a little bit hard, because as a man, I can understand how, okay, if I'm scrolling on social medias and one post is F all men, another post, men aren't capable of loving this, another post, we don't need men, why are you, you have all of this negative rhetoric towards men. So when you're engaging with a woman, I could maybe see how you could maybe want to keep some things close. And even though if you like her and you love her, or if you want to pursue her, but what I find issue with is that if I'm reciprocating your energy, what men now tend to do is they want to be chased and pursued like women. And I have a problem with that, because I'm like, okay, you want me to chase and pursue you. Where does the role reversal stop? Men want you, women can propose, it's equal rights. Okay, so you gonna take my last name, Mr. Richardson? You know what I mean? Am I gonna get a strap on and do you? Like, literally, like, where does the role reversal stop? Are you gonna, if we're out in public, are you gonna shut up and let me talk and handle it? You be quiet. So it's like, I don't really know what men want, as far as, and same, some women, I don't know what they want either, because I'm like, okay, he got to be 6'5", he got to make $1 million+, he has to be fit, he has to, all of the metrics. You're not going to cheesecake on the first one, and once again,
that's crazy.
Or whatever.
That is crazy.
You're not cash shopping for nails and all of this stuff. So it's like,
see,
I understand that.
That's what I can't get into. And again, I come from a different world, different generation. I mean, me and your mother. Oh my God. Like, I didn't have shit when I met your mother. I was 15. I didn't have shit. I used to come see her in stolen cars. You know what I mean? I can give you a ride in a stolen car. You know what I mean? But
there's effort.
And what I had to give her, I gave her, and we got you. You know what I mean? That's what I had, right? That's what I had at the time. You know what I mean? So, but I can remember us going to, we didn't have no money. You know what I mean? You remember early on, Checkers and Blockbuster Video. And when we had a little extra change, we would go to Fridays. That was a fucking treat. Like,
I remember.
And
half the time we went for a daughter appreciation day.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it wasn't about where you go. It was the time spent and the connecting. That's what I think is missing today. That's why I say everything is so surface and so pretentious and superficial, because who cares? Like, if you meet a woman, you meet a man, even if you go for coffee, even if you just go, it's about connecting.
And I prefer that. I actually prefer. I think
like,
that, and this is an unpopular opinion. I know they're gonna be like, "Oh, she's a pick me," but no, I actually think coffee dates and ice cream dates and simple dates in the beginning. I think it should be like that because number one, we're trying to get to know each other. I don't need to be under the spell of sultry lights and food and wine and this is how people get into situations. And it's like you really didn't like that person. You connected with the ambiance. Whereas if it's coffee at noon or 2:00 or ice cream, number one, if it goes sour, we can end it. We're not laboring over dinner.
You're not waiting on food.
The waiter, the check gonna take forever. The man's not completely out of money. You as a woman are not completely out of money because you didn't go and get a $200 dress. Because that's what I was telling my homegirl. I was like, women do realize you don't have to buy a $200 dress and $300 shoes and do all the extras. Like you can just throw in a cute outfit, cute peasant top, and
because
go.
I'm gonna tell you what I see with some women and even some men, especially in the day and age of designer and all the accessorizing and all of that. What they have to realize, there's nothing wrong with that. That's cool if that's what you want to do. But it's too much of that and not enough you.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So what happens is you show up with all of this as a representation of who you are, who you want people to think you are, and that's really you hiding behind these superficial things, So you're trying to project, I'm the guy. Yes. I have this, I'm this, or the chick.
I was gonna say women too.
I'm this, I'm beautiful. I got on 10 pounds of makeup and all of this.
Push her in the pool.
I have this many followers and I know this person. It's like, no, who you are. Let's move all that shit to the side. No. Take all of that off. I want to see you in the morning. Who are you?
In the morning. But see, that's the problem. I think that, that's a good point that you made about connection. I think in order for people to be able to connect with each other, you got to be able to sit with yourself and connect with you first.
That's a fact.
So if people are constantly running from themselves, they're doom scrolling, you're shopping instead of, sitting with yourself. I mean, literally with silence, joint and silence in the backyard does wonders for me. Just sitting with myself, like how can I be objective with myself and how can we be better in all facets?
Yeah.
But, it increases the quality, I feel like, of all relationship dynamics. But the hard part is dealing with yourself in that inner world first before you integrate somebody else.
No, it's a fact because, you can have trauma bonds too. You have a broken motherfucker, attract another broken motherfucker. You come to, and it's just one broke motherfucking thing, right? You know what I mean? But, one thing that I will say for anyone listening, especially millennials and younger, connecting and building a relationship, I promise you, it is not rocket science. It is not that fucking hard. Like, all you have to do is connect. You connect with this, it's more this than that. It comes from here. Do you like this person? And you have to love the crust of a motherfucker too, because you have to understand, looks fade. Life goes up and down. I could be on now. I could have all the money and all the shit, but what happens if I go, fall on my ass? It happens. You know what I mean? So now, does your love go with that?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, there's some women online, and some of, I don't think sometimes it's like even with the red pill dudes, like they're not 100% wrong. They're a lot wrong, but you're not 100% wrong. Same way with the pink pill. But yeah, I don't like this thing of just discarding people as soon as it's, and I know because I'm one for cutting people off.
You are.
In my defense, I gave you umpteen chances, though. I talked, I labored, I explained. You know what I mean? I presented casework. No, by the time I cut you off, I'm literally just exhausted and I'm tired. So,
really?
But no, seriously.
Okay.
I don't get enough credit. I don't get enough credit. I don't feel like I get enough credit. No, I actually give.
But your threshold for your toleration threshold is very short.
Well, it is now. So as I've gotten older, and with each, not even just romantic relationships, but jobs, deals, just people, my threshold just has decreased as I've gotten. Not only have I gotten older, but just as my purpose has filled me up more.
Right.
I don't have it to give to you.
You become a little more focused. And it's funny because the older you get, at least for myself, it's a duality. I do become more patient with certain things.
Yes.
And with certain shit, I become less patient.
Right.
It depends on what it is, So I think that develop. But I want to go back to the 50-50 thing. when I tell you that irks my soul.
Me too.
That irks my fucking soul. I'm from a generation, you know, and mind you, I didn't even grow up with a dad, right? This was just fucking common sense, maybe just masculinity, just it was innate, it was intrinsic, you know what I mean? Even when I didn't have it, I would pay for shit. You as a man, you want to do that. I don't understand that. As a man, if I was single now and I went on a date, right? We go to a restaurant. I don't give a shit how nice it is. And I could sit down and within 5 minutes, I could be like, ooh, I don't like this bitch. God damn, I hate I came here. I'm still gonna be polite. I'm gonna still be a gentleman. When the check comes, I'm gonna pay for it. I'm gonna still make sure you get your raggedy ass home safe, you know? And then I don't gotta talk to you no more.
Right.
It's just that simple.
Yeah.
I couldn't in good conscience be on some looking at the bill, well, we gonna divide this up. You know, you had this, you had the shrimp, right? Okay. And that's raggedy as shit. You know, I'm not wired like that.
Me either.
I don't understand that thought process because I just feel like as men, we protect, we provide, we lead, you know, it makes you feel good to do that. Now, if you a pimp or you on some other type of shit, I get it, whatever, right? But yeah, I don't understand the 50-50 thing. I don't get that. Not with bills, not with anything, you know, because as I always say, when you talk about the 50-50 thing, okay, let's say this scenario, a chick or a dude, you come in with this, 50-50. Okay. Now what happens if I hit pay dirt or I hit the lottery? Okay. I'm up 15 million.
Right.
You know, so you still where we was. Well, shit, I want to go get this house over here for 6-7 million. You know what I mean? Now,
Where your 3?
I have my half.
Right.
I have my half. What do you bring it to the table?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So where does it end? And even when it comes to just around the house, you know, think about it. You know, me and your mother, whoever could do it, whether it's watching the kids, taking y'all to school, homework, it was whoever could do it. Whoever, even me as the man, as the leader of the household, and you know, your mother will defer to me when it makes sense, but she has her own opinion too, and I value her opinion. It's about what's the best course of action. If I say something and then she says something that makes more sense, well, fuck, we going with that then. You know, because at the end of the day, whatever decision is made is going to affect both of you.
Right.
You know, so.
It's very interesting. It's very odd. And you know, I called you with this in real time and you hit me with the same scenario because I did not understand this when I too was going through it because that was the first time I'd ever been hit with that personally. And I was like, in what world, you know? And then especially me as, you know, one growing up in the household, I'm like, hold on, I got Nigerian family. We don't get down like that. I've grown up with older grandparents. My parents don't get down like that. I myself am the eldest sibling. I could never. So, and even with my friends, like, I'm not even like that. Like, I don't mind paying for my friends, or I love paying for my friends, or my friend, or my siblings, or, you know, whoever I'm entertaining or going out with. Like, same. Like, even as a woman, I love to provide and, you know, got it in the way that I can. But I think with men, you know, and with some men, and I think this is still, I don't want to say unique to our culture and our community, but I think it is more prevalent because a lot of men, unfortunately, they saw their mother do everything. And not only did they see their mother do everything, but their mother never practiced vulnerability with them. You know what I mean? Their mother never said, you know what, son, or you know what, daughter, like, yes, I'm doing it by myself because I have to, but if I could choose for you to have a strong male role model, if I could have chose better, whatever, then I would, because it is difficult, it is hard. Sometimes I do cry. You know, and I do think it's essential for women specifically, you know, men too, but women specifically, because it's just a little bit more prevalent to be vulnerable with your children, especially your sons, because if he grows up thinking that, no, women are supposed to do it all, but he don't know the tears and the breakdowns you've had in private. Now he puts this ungodly amount of pressure on this woman who could be doing is, you know, like, okay, I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm intimate with you, I'm cool with your family, I'm building a business, I'm working. It's like, what more else do you want? But I think it goes back to that just kind of insatiable nature that a lot of men have and also have been socialized to have. And then also I just feel a lack of value for intrinsic femininity and value, just from a woman's perspective, you know, because it's easy to say, you know, it's like when a house is clean. Nobody cares when the house is clean, but the minute it's dirty, it's like, okay, well, who gonna clean that up?
Right.
Where did that come from? It's like, well, somebody cleaned it up before. Somebody's doing your laundry. Somebody's doing, you know,
Right.
somebody's taking care of you. Somebody is doing your taxes, or somebody is praying for you, advocating on your behalf.
Right.
All of these intangibles as well as tangibles. And then especially, you know, as a Black woman, it's very offensive because we've never not worked, even historically. We've never not worked. So when you engage with men, and, you know, and it's funny too, like engagement, because, you know, dudes are slide in the DMs or whatever, but they quickly get shut down because they come with these red pill talking points.
Yeah.
Yeah, you women, y'all got privileges now, and this is why, you know, it's so much dissension. Like, men have correlated, or a lot of men, I should say, have correlated the relationship breakdown with, oh, it's because y'all got privileges. See, if y'all didn't have money or degrees or whatever. But basically what you're saying is that because this woman now has a right to choose, and she can choose better, whether that's another man or herself, you're really saying that you're also not a good option in a way.
That's
because
too
you're
much
saying
mind.
that if you didn't, no,
That's too
seriously,
much
I've had
thinking.
men say this to me, it's because you got privileges, and really debate me on this. Like, yeah, because if this was 30, 40 years ago, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, see,
I
this
never
is
even had
unattractive.
that type of conversation.
This is unattractive.
You know what I mean? Like, we talk, when I met your mom, it was very simple. It wasn't about, oh,
I'm not fighting for my rights
you're
in
not
no relationship.
barefooted pregnant in the kitchen. Like, it wasn't none of that, you know, archaic, you know, type shit. But okay, whatever.
Right.
I wanna pivot a little bit.
Let's pivot.
So let's go to some current things a little
Okay.
bit. You know, we don't do a lot of gossiping
We don't.
and a lot of the BS on here. But we'll touch on it a little bit. So, of course, you know, the whole Puffy thing. And I'm not even going to get into that because whatever. But what I am curious is your opinion on Jaguar Wright. So,
okay.
you know, here recently, Jay-Z and Beyonce sent a cease and desist to Piers Morgan for him having her on the platform. Now, I know a few platforms that she goes on regularly, which I've done those platforms, and I'm cool with those guys, and I respect them. Shout out to Real Life Street Stars. But I have my opinion of her, and people like her. You
Okay.
know, not just her, but she's trending right now. What are your thoughts on her and people like her?
Okay,
You
no,
know?
I get you. So here's the thing. I feel like it's two different. I feel like you have troublemakers, and then I feel like you have whistleblowers. So I think it's two different things. I think people that just troll and want to trouble make and just cause dissension and chaos, I think that is something different. And at first, I could see how people can maybe group her into the troublemaker, you know, category, because I ain't gonna lie, I'll be fully transparent. At first I did, because, and this was before all of the Puffy, like this was just, I would say she came into my cipher like earlier this year, maybe late last year. But as I've gotten older, and even me too, now being in business and just being in a different space, I really do appreciate people that can go against the grain and embrace all the discomfort that comes with airing out, I'm just gonna say, just debauchery.
Yeah.
You know, it
Yeah.
just is, because, you know, as much as, you know, especially Black people want to sit up here and say like, oh, they're tearing a Black man down and this and this and that. And I'm like, okay, we can go back and forth. I'm not saying there isn't concerted effort towards him, maybe or maybe
Right.
not because he's Black, but the thing is that he still did what he did, and he
But-
still needs to be accountable for what he did.
Let me push back a little
Push
bit.
back.
In terms of, because I'm very fastidious when it comes to certain things. My issue, what I take umbrage with people like her, and I put her disrespectfully, in the troublemaker.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you why. It's one thing to whistleblow when you have firsthand knowledge. When you are firsthand knowledge and you are directly affected, or you witness something with your own eyes, that is a whistleblower. Now, gossip, you know, and again, I'm not super versed on her, somewhat, but I don't believe, and I could be wrong, but I don't believe that anything she's saying she has experienced or witnessed firsthand herself. From what I understand, this is just, she's regurgitating things that we've all heard for 20 plus years. Now, because it's social media, and you have to understand these platforms, people are incentivized to get on these platforms and perform, you know. So you have to take that into consideration as well.
Yeah.
Orlando Brown just said that. I think it was on Say Cheese or one of these. He said, yeah, depending on how much you pay me is depending on the interview you're going to get.
But hold on, though. But I can go, but let's talk about Orlando Brown. I met Orlando Brown when I was going to Art Institute in North Hollywood because he was working with my then dude I was dating, and they were supposed to do skits and stuff.
I remember that.
Remember,
yeah.
I will give Orlando this. Everything that he's saying now on these platforms, he was saying at that time with no camera.
No, this is a fact. But he is coming from a space, he puts himself first person
for sure
into these situations.
Oh, okay.
So for him, no matter how left field it is, his thing is, this is what they did to me and what I encountered and what I experienced. Okay, that's his story to tell or lie about or whatever, right? I don't know. But when you have someone that says, yeah, well, I heard this, or we all know, how do you know it? Did you see it? Or, because I've heard some crazy shit too about a lot of people, and I have a platform. So imagine me getting on here and regurgitating all of that as if it's fact. You know, now, because I think in this social media age, I don't think that some of the people can discern the difference between truth and entertainment. You know, it's a blurred line. It's a very blurred line. So for me, if you're not saying that, hey, this happened to me, this is what this person did, this is what this person, or I was there, I witnessed this and I saw that, right? Corroborating what someone else is saying. Then other than that, it's gossip and hearsay. Because because now here's the second part of it. I liken it to this. If you've had this information, or anyone had this information for 20 plus years, okay, why not go to law enforcement with it? And why after all this time,
I can answer that.
Why not? Why you quiet? You know, you're talking now because you're incentivized by the pay, right? And the attention. But at the same time, it's kind of like, it's almost like, if I know that the neighbor is abusing, physically abusing the child, right? Instead, if I don't go over there and stomp a mud hole in his ass myself, or call the appropriate people, then I go and gossip to the other neighbors. Yeah, he beating a 10-year-old over there. We seen him with the broom. Man, that's crazy. Then I might as well go over there and beat him myself.
No, I agree. I agree. And so to go back on all of what you just said, and no, those are valid points, and I fully agree. Now, I haven't fully dive deep into all of what she has going on and all of her testimonies. I've seen, some clips, some shorts here and there, and you go through the comments, but because I remember thinking to myself, I said, man, she not this mad over no deal gone wrong. I was like, that, I get it, broken dreams and all of that, but I said this is something else. So I found, I don't know, y'all can drop in the comments, but I think because she was coming out as a whistleblower previously, it's speculated that her son was the victim of, that was his demise. That's why his life was ended. Because it was like retaliation, like, oh, you want to run your mouth? Cool. Well, here's your son. So this is why there's videos of her, like literally she's throwing her son's ashes on people. Like clearly it was a mental breakdown. So I'm not coming for her. I completely understand. Yeah, for sure. But if that is her reasoning for wanting to go so hard, because it's like, okay, if you take the thing that means the most in the world from me, then I'm gonna do everything I can. So let me stop you there. I
understand that, and but that's emotion.
It is.
See, that's not fact.
Well, no. What I'm saying is no.
What I'm saying is she has an axe to grind in all of this, but it's not rooted in actual fact.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. We don't know, because with the Diddy, like even with Diddy and Cassie, once again, I'm not sure, but from what people were saying, a lot of what she had been saying for years was kind of in the court files with Cassie's thing.
So I'm not arguing that. So what I'm saying, I'm not even saying what she is saying is not true. But I'm saying we have to be careful, because people listen to that as if it's law.
I get what you mean.
You see what I'm saying? and this is someone regurgitating what they've heard. Because I've heard things too. I've heard things about a lot of celebrities. They could be true, they could be not true, right?
And it's people's real lives. It's victims' real lives. I get it. It's real consequences.
This is where I think the responsibility comes, is like, okay, if it's entertainment, at least understand how to articulate yourself and say, hey, listen, I heard. Or, I don't know, they say. Okay, cool. But when you couch it in such a way that, no, I know. I witnessed this. You know what I'm saying? Now, people say, well, she hasn't been sued. I don't, respectfully, I mean, if you're going to sue somebody, you're going to sue somebody that's going to get something. You're going to get something,
that's
right?
That's true.
And then I don't think that, I think that people are entertained by her. I think sometimes people project their bullshit too, because if you want to believe it, you will.
For sure.
And you bring your own shit into it, right? If you've been robbed before, and you're traumatized by being robbed, and then another nigga say, man, this nigga robbed me. Man, I know he did. I know because niggas robbed me. You know what I mean? Like,
you got that bias.
Right.
Yeah.
You're biased,
yes.
right? So, and again, I'm not coming for her. I'm just unpacking.
Yeah.
Because we're in this space, and I try to be very responsible with the platform. And, people can be misled, and then the thing about it, even in the comments, when you try to come from a very pragmatic standpoint, and use common sense. Then you become, you're a dealer.
Yeah.
Oh, you're an abuser. And it's like, no, that's not what I said. All I'm saying, remove emotion.
Yes.
All I'm saying is, you have to understand that,
But here's the thing, though, I will say, because I do think this is important to note, because I do see a lot of like, oh, why are these people coming out now? Why now? Why now? But what people have to consider is that, especially with men and power dynamics, and men understand power dynamics because y'all naturally function under hierarchy. If you have these people, you know what I mean? If you have this man that has all this money, this resource, this access, not only in the entertainment, but also in law enforcement, who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters? Seriously, who are you gonna call? Because if he has the sheriff on payroll, like Diddy, he paid 50, 100 bands to have the tape deleted from a big hotel and whatever. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, these are still things. And I'm saying this to say that when you have victims or other people that see these power plays, I can understand how people could be like, well, sheesh, like, so-and-so got took out, so-and-so's family got took out, they got paid off, this person, this sheriff, this political person. I could start, it's just like with Cassie, you can be a walking hostage because you're still under this power dynamic, So I think that that's why sometimes it can take them longer because sometimes it may be an opening. Maybe there wasn't an opening for years. Maybe you didn't have anywhere to go. Maybe you couldn't even financially take the backlash that would have come with that because now you're blackballed, you're eradicated. And especially as women, you have to move even more, I
mean, it's not lost on me that I understand, some women don't have, they don't have anyone, they don't have like you would have me and what comes
and
with
men too. I don't want to leave men out,
right?
Because men
get because I mean,
pregnant.
and I don't want to come off insensitive. I'm trying to wrap my head around it because I don't know. It's not a you
can't wrap your head. You just wouldn't do something like that.
Right,
That's what it is.
But
you would go about it differently.
Yes. Because if I'm,
But on the flip side, though, and I'm just playing devil's advocate, because on one hand, I think it could be like, okay, you're getting incentivized, like you're getting paid, you're getting the algorithm and it's money. But then on the flip side, it could be, well, she did not have a platform before. Maybe she could have attempted to go to people, not even just her. There could have been attempts from other people to do things, but social media just busts everything wide open. So maybe now you don't have to go through the newspaper that won't publish it. These publishers won't do it. This network won't. We're wide open.
I still
now.
feel, I understand that. I still feel like some of it is self-serving.
And it probably is.
And it's self-serving in a couple different ways because, I've had issues with celebrities, as you know, and never once has it crossed my mind to expose or gossip or sue. That's never crossed my mind.
But then it's just like the lady that was just on a soft white underbelly. Did you see that? That was just a few days ago, and she posted she talked about the Diddy party, and she straight up said there were little people, i.e. children there. So it's like I don't know. I feel like we could say that, but maybe it's like you saying like, oh, I would never stop and help a person.
Right.
But maybe in real time, if you're driving and you do see a mother that's pregnant, maybe your natural instinct would be to stop and assist.
Yeah.
So I think that's
I get it. And I think we in a day and age too where, again, I think with social media, which has made the world a lot smaller because everyone's connected and everyone has a voice. And if you talk, loud enough and consistent enough, at some point, somebody will take notice. That is true. And I understand no one, is unassailable or above reproach. So I understand that as well. But I was just curious, and again, I'm not coming for her. I don't know whether she's telling the truth or she's making it up. But I think that I just find it problematic because we're in a day and age where anybody can say anything, and I really learned that once I got into this media space. And as Malcolm X said, he who controls images controls people's minds.
This is
and I can see how I watch how easily people are manipulated with clips and
it happens with us. An edit could make something completely different.
Can change the context, the caption. People it's clicks over context. So I understand that, and I just But so real quick, I seen that Boosie. Shout out to Lil Boosie. He had he ruffled some feathers because one of his daughters is gay, come out as gay, and he went on another platform and said that he didn't want this child to. I don't want to misquoting, but basically pollute the other kids. But he used a different word, and that word that I just said might have been even worse, right? But it was something around that. But and it's so funny because I don't know if you remember when you were in high school, right? You were in high school, and I hope I ain't putting you out there. You was in high school, and you had your mohawk,
right?
And you had your shit cut in the back,
And my chains.
And your chains. You was playing volleyball. You was running track. I
had my guns and my bullet belts.
Had your guns and your bullet. You was a little tomboyish. And I remember asking your mother, kind of like. Like, you think, and you were running real tough with your girlfriends, with your friends, friends.
Yes.
And so I remember asking your mom, like, you think they fucking like, you know what I mean? You think your daughter is our daughter like that?
No.
And do you remember when I asked you?
Yes.
I said, Monkey, I said, do you like boys?
Yes.
And do you remember what you told me?
Well, I probably said
so what you said,
or but
what you said, and I was kind of like, you said, oh yeah. You said, but the dudes up in my school is a bunch of bitches.
Okay,
that's exactly what you told me. And I was like,
I'm consistent.
Oh. I said, oh, okay. I said, well, I would have loved you the same. But
right.
but what are your thoughts on that,
on his daughter or him and
on his reaction to that?
Well, I think it's just I don't know. I think it's a little bit problematic only because it's like, okay, and I don't know how true this is, but I remember seeing something a few years ago where he hired ex-workers for his like 14 or 15-year-old son. So if we're talking about influence, and once again, I'm not judging. My dad was a rapper. We've talked about this. But, when you listen to Boosie's lyrics and his music and, obviously how he treats his other children, it's like, okay, well, it's not too much better. And then not only that, but we also have to acknowledge that, okay, I'm not saying whether people are born gay, become gay, it doesn't bother me either way. But for the people that maybe, whether it's out of abuse or out of just what they have observed, I still think that, as a man, if this is your child, whether it's her mother or the environment that you have provided for her, maybe look at yourself. You know what I mean? And then two, I think that if you have a child, you should just love them. I don't think that her being gay is the worst thing that she could be in the world.
That's a fact. I agree.
There's children in the ground.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Seriously.
That's a fact. That's a great perspective too.
Yeah.
And again, I understand Boosie. Boosie is he's younger than me, but he's still from my generation, very old school, down south Bible Belt, they don't. But,
and that's fine, but have that be consistent when you're getting sex workers
that's a
for your
fact.
minor child.
That's
also abuse. It's not different because he's a little boy.
And I think he has to kind of consolidate, the fact that, again, as I spoke at the beginning of it, which we can still stick true to our principles and our moral fabric and our foundation, but the world is different. You know what I mean? And you don't necessarily have to change.
Yes.
But you have to understand that things around you change. You know, so your tolerance for certain things, it just is what it is. And that's a heavy burden, to carry, to have such hard opinions about everything. You know, at the end of the day, man, people are people. Like, y'all my kids are grown. Y'all grown. So y'all gonna be who y'all gonna be, whatever that is. We support you. I can't worry about what the fuck y'all doing all the time. You know what I mean? As long as you're okay, you happy, you healthy, fuck, do you.
But he apologized, right? Didn't he apologize?
He did. And I think it was the wording that threw people off. I don't think it was necessarily the concept of it. I think people understood that. It was the wording. And the word I used was probably worse than his, you know what I'm saying? But I don't want to misquote him, you know what I mean?
Something along those lines.
Something along those lines. But anyway, so I just, what?
Let's, hold on. Kamala.
Okay, real quick, Kamala. Shout out to Kamala.
Yeah.
Kamala. As Trump
right?
says, Kamala. Yeah, she's black. I didn't know she was black.
Oh my God.
I didn't know she's Indian, and
Here we go.
But shout out to Kamala Harris. Listen, man, real quick. So Barack Obama, he came and he's standing up for his homegirl. He caping for her right now. And he's like, listen, you black people, the brothers, man, y'all should stand behind her. I don't really get into, I don't know if that's called identity politics, right? Is that what that's called?
Not sure.
Okay, your mother correct me on that. But listen, I judge people on their policies, you know what I mean? I'm going to handle my candle however it goes.
Right.
You know what I mean? For me, it doesn't matter who's in office. I'm going to make it do what it do, But I'm always for the people, whatever's best for the people as a whole, Of course, the laws, on the books that affect our communities, disproportionately, education, the same things, the same values that's important to everybody. But Barack basically said, if you're black, and these aren't his words, but how I interpreted it, if you're black, you need to be rocking with her. Straight up. You know what I mean? That's what he said.
Okay, so I'll say this, which I know I pretty much took it that way too, but this is what I like about what Barack Obama did just in general, and he did. He spoke directly to black men. And of course now they're, irritated and mad about it. But here's the thing, black women also spoke directly to white women saying, hey, listen, understand the assignment this time, because now you see that we told y'all last time that this would also affect y'all. Now it's affected y'all. Y'all had to learn the hard way. But I think what I do like about it is that, like he said this man has, whatever, Trump doesn't bother me, but there's a million Trumps in the world. So he himself doesn't bother me. But what I think Barack is speaking to just a little bit, I think is just getting on code. I think that black men just getting on code, because it's kind of like how we were talking about with the relationships. It's like, it's just this general consensus of y'all just don't like us, because now you have these black men that are like, oh, she ain't even black, she Indian and black. But it's like, well, hold up. When y'all date biracials and interracials and exoticals, y'all say oh, she's black. She's black. What do you mean? Like the FBAs. She's black. You know what I mean?
You damn Miss Sanders.
You Miss Sanders, you dead witch. Like, okay. Like, yes, she's a black phenotype, but she's still a biracial woman. His wife is still biracial. That's not a problem. Right. But let's not be intellectually dishonest and act like, oh, the problem is because she's mixed. But in every other arena, we would like this phenotype of black woman. You see what I'm saying? So I would rather y'all just say, no, we just don't like that. And then also, let's not act like the dynamic of her being married to a white man is not also part of because I feel like if she was with a brown Larry, they would be team Kamala, because, she in the community. But it's like, you don't see that same rhetoric when it's black men dating outside of their race. It's still, oh no, I can be inside of the community. What does who I lay with have to do with my heart? And I'm still black. Okay, well, let her still have her experiences too. So I like that he just basically said, like, y'all just kind of should maybe get on code, and then even just the underlining, the thought process of us. Once again, just going back to our communities, like just link up.
Yeah. What I
Nobody
would
else
say,
does this.
what I would say, and again, this is an area that I'm not super well versed.
And I'm sorry, really quick.
Mm-hmm.
And then the same dude's talking about her being mixed. Y'all didn't care that Obama was mixed. That's what I'm saying. Y'all kept saying he was a black man. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But go ahead. Just had to.
Yeah, I think what this is what
Just be consistent.
what I suggest to people is listen, educate yourself on the policies.
Yes, I agree.
Regardless of who's in front of you, educate yourself on the policies, and really it's that local government too as well. When you start talking about the people in your local government, that's a big thing too. So educate yourself. Don't get caught up in the emotion of this and that. Because now I'm not saying don't vote for Kamala. I'm not saying vote for her.
And I'm not even just saying just vote for her because she's a black woman.
Exactly, whatever it means to you, but.
Don't not vote for her because she's a black woman.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That was what I was about to say. But do not vote for her because she's a black woman. Whoever aligns with your values and where you see that your family and your community you want it to go, then go with your move. Because I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do regardless of who's in office. And I don't mean to be dismissive, but that's just what that is. So on that note. We're going to wrap it up. I just wanted to powwow with your daughter, you know what I mean? And I appreciate
these.
you. Yeah, we got to do more of these. So on that note, appreciate you guys for tapping into the Holdin Court Podcast. And again, I want you to go to iambigcourt.com, tap in with Legacy Builder University in our school community. I'm telling you, this thing is taking off.
It is.
You know what I mean? It's taking off, and I'm very proud of what we built. I'm very proud to be able to, it's very gratifying for me to be able to share knowledge, wisdom, understanding with you guys and help you guys get to the next level. So once again, Big Court, Holdin Court Podcast, Rachel, Renee, producer Ken here in spirit. Shout out to producer Ken. Hey, we're going to catch y'all on the next one. Salute.